Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtin from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome to the 19th episode of Heart Centered Revolution podcast. This episode is special in that it was completely spontaneous. Ramtin was teaching a class on a different subject, and a couple of the students had some questions about how things in Kundalini works. So I was listening to it and thought it was great, and that some of you probably had the same questions and would enjoy listening to these answers. And even if you're not a beginner student, Ramtin goes deep into answering the questions of why we tune in, what a Kriya is, and then what if you can't do a meditation correctly. So I think it's worth a listen even if you have a bit more experience. And then at the end of the episode, I will lead you through a pranayam practice called Grab a Little Energy. The first question the student had is, why do we tune in and what is the purpose behind it? And here is Ramtin's response.
Good question, because again, setting the foundation, right? It's set when we say the mantra Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Just the translation, it says, I bow to the divine wisdom within. We're recognizing that all this that we're talking about, all this that is brought to your attention and brought up is within you. And we tap into the golden chain of teachers before us, again, through mantras, through the practice, have created a certain field of energy. And as we tune into that, we're connecting with that. At the same time, we are bringing ourselves present, grounding ourselves, setting the foundation, tapping into that energy. By chanting, we're creating that vibration in the third eye, in this area. Tapping that vibration, we bring the sound of creation, sound of life, into activation. Om and Om come from they're the same thing. But Om is more passive, Om is more active. Creating that energy to become more focused now. That's why we tune in. And we tune in the Adgure Name mantra for protection. And that protection is not, again, separation, is not creating the huge shield. We do that for our own visualization and our own mind, but we're chanting that mantra, we're becoming one with the whole creation. The meaning is I bow to the divine wisdom. I'm sorry, I bow to the primal wisdom that existed, that always exists, and always will be. The primal wisdom that created everything. That's part of everything and everybody. And think about that. So when we become one with that, there's nothing to fear. And fear is part of who we are, so it's been given to us for a reason. How do we utilize it is up to us. That's the free will about anything. Utilization of anything is the free will. And that's the biggest privilege we've been given, but at the same time it's been hindering us towards a lot of stuff, that free will. That's why, you come across and become familiar with certain healing modalities, certain things that are so simple. And you question, well, if this is so simple, if this comes from the source, why is it not healing everybody? Why is it working on this person, not that person? It's because of your free will. And think about that. If the source that's created the world, you're able to connect to in a simple manner, but still doesn't make the changes you really think you desire, and it's your free will that's blocking it, what power you've been given, how privileged we are to be in this position, in this condition, in this realm of being as human beings, to be able to have that choice. And what we do with that choice is that what really matters. That's the only thing that separates us from the other animals. That we have this choice, we have this frontal lobe, that's through the development of the frontal lobe, our brain, all that stuff, we're able to now become aware of the choice and continuously making the choices. All right. Any other questions?
At this point, a student states that she's brand new and she doesn't know what a Kriya is. And in case you have never seen the word, Kriya is spelled Kriya, and it refers to a series of exercises. So in Kundalini Yoga, when you go and you do the exercises, this series, like you do this exercise first for this long and then the next one for this long, that is the Kriya. And these Kriyas have been handed down for thousands of years, and they have a specific purpose. So you do, these 5 exercises in this order in order to flush out your kidneys, or you do these exercises in this order in order to balance your chakras. It's that kind of a thing. So we'll transition into Ramtin's response, which goes a little bit deeper into what the Kriyas actually are.
Oh, okay. Kriya, it's if you go to other yoga classes, any postures, stretches, and poses all called asanas, right? So if you go, for example, to downward dog in a triangle pose, that is an asana. We call all these physical exercises Kriyas, because Kriya is also, if you do a meditation and you hold your hands in a certain mudra, hand position, and breathing, that's also a Kriya, because its action is holistic. Everything is involved. It's not just a position or a stretch. Kriya means action, taking action. So it's active. Our meditations are more active than passive, if you will, right? Silent meditations, part of the meditations we have in Kundalini Yoga, but majority of the meditations include some breathing techniques, some definitely mudras, eye position. Focus on that a lot as well. That's what is a Kriya.
And for the last question of this class in this episode, a student states that she has a really hard time with the eye positions. Like she shuts her eyes, but they either won't go to the correct position or they don't stay there. And I wanted to add one little piece that the eye gaze is really a mirror for your mind a lot of times. So if your mind wanders during a meditation, bringing your attention back to your eye gaze is the quickest way to calm your mind. Because if you're focusing your attention, there's something about bringing your attention in line with your vision, with your eyes, with what you're looking at, that it kind of quiets the mind. So if your mind wanders, I really encourage you to focus on the eye gaze and then worry about whatever else is going on in the meditation. Or don't worry about it, but and then pay attention to the other things that are going on in the meditation. But here we'll jump into Ramtin's answer to the original question, which was, what if I can't get my eyes to do what they're supposed to do?
I do too. I still do most of the time for something, but it's fine. Just keep doing it. And you're meditating. Don't think that that's preventing you from being in that meditative state, and that's what the process is like, interesting, because if you just had it, I promise you, if you just had it perfectly, you get bored with it. And we learn not to be bored as through the process of, if you will, perfecting the process. When time comes, that's why we need to, do it on a consistent basis and have discipline. Because once you get to the point that you are able to sit up straight for 11, 20 minutes, an hour, all this stuff is teaching us something. It's your own experience, your own body, your own mind, your emotions, and you going through it. When you come to a point that, yes, for an hour now, our meditation, and it's not long once you get into it and do it, you focus, your eyes are focused, your spine is straight, shoulders, and you're there, and all that, then it won't be as boring as if you just got it right away, It's just, that's how we've conditioned to appreciate things, really. And it's part of the joy of life, So yeah, just keep at it. And you are meditating, is effective, everything is happening. Where just, and that also, you need that at that time. Nothing is wrong is what we think that's, it should be this way or that way. Nothing that we perceive as something it should be a certain way is happening for a certain reason. You don't need to know about that. You don't need to really kind of get into that deeply, but just trust that for now, and then it will, it will come to you that everything that's happening to us is actually a more divine purpose behind it. You're in a flow of this creation that is timeless. Again, timeless. That's very important to think about, and kind of at the same time you're a co-creator. It's just like the paradox of things. It's just very, amazing, very interesting when you come into that part of things. You're creative. You're creating every moment at the same time is created for you. So the things that are happening along the way, you see a person, you meet something, thoughts that come in, emotions, bad, good, this, that, you stub your toe, whatever it is. There's something behind that, and not to worry about it. A lot of times when we come across these phenomenons, initially you're like, scary, I'm a deliberate creator of my own life now. What if I have negative thoughts? Well, that's a start point. That's a good question. Work with that. And again, these tools we have through the practice of Kundalini Yoga, it's just not the only practice. There's many out there. And a lot of students who come here say that what they do here complements what other things that they could be very, experienced in some certain areas. But what we do here certainly helps and kind of boosts the other practice in a way. Anything else you do. Any other questions? Great question.
Okay, that wraps up Ramtin's class for this episode. We will now transition into the pranayam for today. Okay, today we're going to do a truly fun, awesome, but somewhat challenging pranayam. So if the technical parts or if it just isn't clicking, you can always do long, deep breathing. Eyes closed, focus at the third eye, taking long, deep inhales, full, complete exhales. But if you're interested in a challenge, especially if you're familiar with Breath of Fire, which I believe most of you are, let's do this fun pranayam. It's called Grab a Little Energy. Okay, so to do this one, you do need to know how to do Breath of Fire. So as a reminder, Breath of Fire is a powerful breath coming from your navel center. So your stomach, your navel will compress in and out. It'll flutter as you do this breath. So you do a powerful exhale from the navel, and then the inhale comes in naturally. And then powerful exhale, and then the inhale comes in naturally. And so it comes in and out through your nose. So a full breath of fire will sound something like but on each of those inhales, I'm getting a full inhale. And so if going that fast makes you feel like you're hyperventilating or you're not getting enough of an inhale, then please slow it down so that you're getting a full inhale. The point is not to get dizzy. It's to just have a full, a quick but complete inhale and exhale from the navel through the nose. Okay, so that's breath of fire. That's the basic breath that we're going to use, but we're going to manipulate it a little bit. But before we get into it, let's get settled. So root down your sit bones, get really grounded. And as you push your sit bones down into your chair, your seat, your shoulders and your heart open and lift. The crown of your head goes up to the heavens. Eyes are closed. Focus at the third eye. Chin is gently tucked down and back. We'll do long, deep breathing, or a couple of long, deep breaths. Inhaling into the belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. One more like that. Inhaling, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. Beautiful. So continue with your long, deep breathing as I describe what we're going to do. You don't have to start it yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to do breath of fire, but we're going to do one complete round through the left nostril and then one complete round through the right nostril. And so how we manipulate that is with our right hand. So as you do your long, deep breathing, or you can follow along, but we're just practicing, so don't get into the pranayam yet. Bring your right hand up to your right nostril. Gently close your left nostril. We'll do one quick inhale and exhale through the left. And then rotate your hand so that your pointer finger is closing your left nostril. And then do one powerful inhale and exhale from the navel through the right nostril. And then you'll switch the hand so that your right thumb is now closing your right nostril. And you do another breath of fire, complete inhale and exhale through the left nostril. Okay, so you can bring your hand down. So just to reiterate, what we're going to do is breath of fire, but one complete cycle through each nostril as we alternate them. So one inhale, exhale through the right, one inhale, exhale through the left. So even if you've done Kundalini for quite a while and you have a powerful breath of fire practice, I would really recommend slowing it down so that you can get your hand movement. And so you're not creating stress, right? We want to create focus and increased awareness, but not stress. So let's begin. Resume your seated tall posture, right hands up, closing the right nostril with a breath of fire through the left nostril, and then switching, closing left nostril, breath of fire through the right nostril, and then continue at your breathing rate. Great. Keep up with your breath of fire at a slower pace than you're used to. Take your time with it. A breath of fire, inhale, exhale through one nostril and then the next nostril, switching back and forth. We're only going to be here for a minute. Eyes are closed and focused at the third eye. The breath is powerful and complete from the navel. Keeping it up. Beautiful. Bring your left hand to your heart and continue this alternate nostril breath of fire. Make sure your heart is still lifted, shoulders are up and back. Okay, listen carefully as we close. Take a deep inhale. Close both nostrils with your hands. Tighten your lips, hold your breath, and pump your navel. So there's no breath happening. There's no air escaping your nose or your mouth, but you're pumping your navel as fast as you can. Okay, exhale. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale deeply. Plug your nose, put pressure on your lips, holding the breath and pumping the navel. If you're having a hard time holding your breath, it sounds counterintuitive, but breathe in just a little sip of more air. Okay, exhale completely. We'll do one more like that. Inhale deeply. Closing both nostrils, pursing the lips so no air gets out, and pumping the navel as fast as you can. It says, fast, move quick, jump the belly button, become young for God's sake. You are not wise anyway, but why be old? Gotta love Yogi Bhajan, this sense of humor. Pumping that navel. Okay, exhale completely. Relax the hands into the lap. Let the breath come to a regular rate. Keeping the eyes closed, focus at the third eye. Check in with your mental, emotional, and spiritual state. See what effect this pranayam, called Grab a Little Energy, had on you. It's alternating left and right side, breath of fire. Beautiful. Blink your eyes open when you are ready. All right, that is it for episode 19 of the Heart-Centered Revolution podcast. We appreciate all of your love and support. We've been getting messages on Facebook, the iTunes reviews. It's just been such an outpouring of support, and we really appreciate it. So if you liked the format of this episode, the question and answer episode, then you can check out episode 10 and episode 11. Those are both also question and answer format, where we surveyed our podcast audience, our email list, and the students in our physical classes. And we took a selection of questions from those people and answered them in those 2 episodes. So again, that's episode 10 and episode 11. If you haven't already, please leave a rating and a review on iTunes for our podcast. It just helps us get the word out there. It means that they put us in front of more of their users, and so more people can learn about this awesome practice of Kundalini Yoga. All right, we love you. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Sat Nam.